Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rick with the Digital Divide, and today I want to talk about the Fantastic Four, both in terms of their comic book history and the upcoming movie, which I think looks incredible. Especially the art design. It's so comic book accurate, and I really, really like that. So today I want to give Fantastic Four a bit of a spotlight. In case you're not super familiar with the team, this will give you some insight as to where they came from, who created them, and so forth. So we're going to start by talking a little bit about the history. Fantastic Four was created in November of 1961. The person that's most responsible for its creation is Jack Kirby. Stan Lee also helped. He was a co-editor and writer on that book as well, but this was really Jack Kirby's baby. This team meant so much to him. And this was Marvel's first superhero team, so he took it very seriously. The Thing, or Ben Grimm, was supposed to be a representation of Jack Kirby. He made him a wisecracking Jewish kid from New York City who liked to smoke cigars, and that character was really based on him.
If you look at my characters, you'll find me. No matter what kind of character you create or assume, a little of yourself must remain there.
What do your characters represent?
Well, the characters represent a sort of a transcendent feeling that we all have inside us, that we could do better. We want to do better. We haven't time to do better. That we can be the people that we lionize.
Now, Doctor Doom is intrinsically tied to the Fantastic Four. They go hand in hand. Doctor Doom was the Fantastic Four's primary antagonist, and he was first introduced in the Fantastic Four number 5, which is a book I'd love to have. It is a very, very expensive book, though, but that's where he was first introduced, and he was meant to be Marvel's big bad. He was really Marvel's first true, world-ending bad guy. Now, I already did a full video on Doctor Doom. Here's a little segment from that to kind of show you how Richard Reed and Doctor Doom met for the first time. Back in the day, Cynthia Von Doom, who is Doctor Doom's mother, gets killed by Mephisto back when Doom is still young. As he grows up and becomes a man, he goes off to Empire State University, and this is where he would meet fellow student Reed Richards for the first time, who we all know becomes the leader of the Fantastic Four. Now, Doom desperately wanted to communicate with his dead mother, so while he was at university, he created a machine that would allow him to speak to the dead, and the intention there was that he wanted to be able to speak with his mother. Now, Doom ultimately ended up creating this machine, but there were some flaws in the design, and Reed Richards tries to warn him about one critical flaw in the machine specifically that could have catastrophic results. But Victor, being stubborn, continued on with the experiment, and the machine violently fails, resulting in an explosion that severely damages his face. Okay, so that's how Doom and Reed meet. What about the main cast, though? Well, I think we all are familiar with the story. The four of them go into outer space on a really important mission to better the world, and while they're in space, things go terribly wrong, and all four of them are exposed to an almost lethal amount of cosmic rays. Now, they do survive the trip, but the cosmic rays change each of them in very different ways. And again, I'm sure you guys know all these characters in this story, but we've got the Human Torch. His real name is Johnny Storm. He has the ability to fly. He can also set himself on fire, and fire does not affect him. There's the Thing, which is Ben Grimm. He's like the Hulk of the group. He's the strong guy. He has superhuman strength. Mr. Fantastic is really, really smart, smarter than Iron Man, and he can stretch and manipulate his body on a molecular level. And then there's Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. She's probably the most powerful of the bunch. Not only can she make herself invisible, but she can create force fields around her, create bubbles to make herself fly. She could even make a bubble inside of somebody's head to cut off the oxygen to their brain. I mean, she's super powerful. But I'm sure everyone knows their abilities. What about the Fantastic Four in pop culture? I feel like the Fantastic Four, despite being Marvel's very first superhero team, doesn't get as much recognition as teams like the X-Men or the Avengers. Those teams tend to be the more popular teams, probably because they're a bit more edgy, whereas Fantastic Four is a bit more old school. But believe it or not, when Fantastic Four first came out, they were incredibly popular. They were popular enough to spawn their own TV show. Here's a little bit of that. I remember this video game, though, from the 90s. Specifically came out in September of 1997. It was the only Fantastic Four game, I think, that was not based on a movie. I could be wrong on that, but I remember buying this for that reason, because it was like an original story. One of the cool things is you could play as She-Hulk. She was added as a member of the team in this specific game. The game's not that great. It's just like a 3D version of like a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's not great, if I'm being honest. The graphics were pretty dated, the controls were kind of clunky, but if you're a huge fan of the team, then this was still fun to play, and I hope to find a copy of this again. I have no idea what it goes for, to be honest, but I do want to pick up a copy just for nostalgic reasons. Having said all this, the MCU's been in a bit of a down slump. I think we can all agree on that. Ever since Endgame, things have just gone downhill. Marvel has been focusing on characters that not a lot of people care about. No offense if you're a fan of a character like Ms. Marvel or Echo, or one of these, I would argue, like C-level characters in Marvel. They've been focusing, although that's changed with the release of the Thunderbolts, which was actually really good. And I think the Thunderbolts is finally putting Marvel on track. And I think that if the Fantastic Four comes up and is a 10 out of 10 movie and a huge successful follow-up to the Thunderbolts, this could be Marvel's last chance to win over people that have maybe given up on the MCU and stopped watching. Based on everything I've seen, I think this movie looks incredible, and I cannot wait to watch it. I'm hoping Marvel doesn't let me down, but let me know in the comments below if you're a fan of the Fantastic Four and if you plan to see this movie. As always, thanks for watching.